In the early spring of a season, when cherry blossoms were in full bloom, a young college student named Lisa arrived in Tokyo. She had been waiting for this moment for a long time and had finally achieved her dream of getting into a university in this bustling metropolis. To pursue her dreams, she had to leave her hometown and start a new life in Tokyo. Lisa rented a small apartment, which, although not spacious, was enough to meet her basic needs. She moved into her new home with great anticipation, looking forward to her future as a university student. Little did she know that this apartment would become the stage for one of the most bizarre experiences of her life. On the first night after moving in, as Lisa was unpacking her belongings, she stumbled upon something strange. There was a tiny hole in the bedroom wall, positioned in such a way that it directly faced the wall of the adjacent room. The hole was so small that one had to look closely to notice it. Lisa, fueled by curiosity, couldn't help but wonder where this small opening led to in the neighboring room. She cautiously peered through the hole. However, her curiosity quickly turned to shock. The wall of the room next door was painted in a deep crimson hue, but it wasn't covered in the expected red posters. Lisa couldn't help but wonder if the occupant of that room was peculiar or if there was something else bizarre about it. Despite not knowing the reason, Lisa remained intrigued by the room next door. Every night, she secretly peered into her neighbor's room through the small hole, hoping to uncover the truth. However, her attempts were always met with failure. No matter how she looked, the room next door remained a deep shade of red. Lisa even tried to touch the edges of the hole with her hand, but it seemed to have no end, and her arm felt an eerie chill when she extended it too far. Weeks went by, and Lisa's curiosity grew stronger. She decided to seek information from the landlord to find out more about the neighboring room. She knocked on the landlord's door. A middle-aged landlord with a smile on his face opened the door and asked, "Is there something you need, Miss Lisa?" Lisa politely replied, "Yes, I was wondering, who lives in the room next to mine?" The landlord's smile suddenly faded, and his expression turned serious. "The room next door is occupied by someone with a contagious eye condition." Lisa was taken aback and asked, "Contagious eye condition? What do you mean?" The landlord sighed and said, "The tenant is a very reclusive person who rarely leaves the room. Her eyes seem to be afflicted by a rare disease, causing them to turn entirely red, hence the crimson room. Her eyes are highly sensitive to light, so she always keeps the room in darkness. I would advise you not to disturb her. She doesn't appreciate anyone getting close to her room." Lisa felt a sense of unease but couldn't let go of her curiosity. She wanted to know who the occupant of the neighboring room was and why they had such a peculiar eye condition. Back in her apartment, Lisa once again peered through the small hole. She could feel the presence of the room's occupant on the other side, although she couldn't see their features. It felt like a pair of invisible eyes were fixed on her. Day after day, Lisa continued to spy on the neighboring room. She began to notice strange occurrences. Sometimes, she could hear low, murmured voices from within the room, as if someone were whispering. Other times, she felt a chill, as if an unseen gaze were locked onto her. Her curiosity had turned into an obsession. During the day, she couldn't concentrate on her studies as her mind was filled with thoughts of the neighboring room. At night, she couldn't sleep, consumed by the need to unravel the mystery. One evening, Lisa decided to take a risk and enter the neighboring room to discover what was happening. She knew it was dangerous, but her insatiable curiosity drove her forward. That night, as moonlight spilled through her window onto the floor, Lisa quietly opened her door and tiptoed into the adjacent room. She used her key to unlock the door, and the room was bathed in an oppressive red glow. As she entered, she felt a heavy atmosphere, as if something ominous pervaded the room. Lisa began to search for clues, opening drawers and examining documents, but she found nothing related to the eye condition. She scoured the room, and her gaze eventually fell on the walls. To her astonishment, the walls of the room were covered in strange symbols and patterns, all painted with a fresh coat of crimson paint. These symbols appeared foreign and ancient, sending shivers down her spine. Lisa attempted to decipher their meaning, but it proved futile. Just as she was lost in thought, a deep, low voice suddenly echoed from the depths of the room, as if it emanated from nowhere. The voice sounded like an ancient incantation, filled with mysterious power. Lisa felt a wave of fear, but her curiosity drove her onward. Guided by the voice, Lisa reached the center of the room. There, she discovered a black box emitting a powerful, eerie aura. She gingerly opened the box, revealing its contents, an ancient parchment covered in strange symbols and writing. She attempted to read the text, but its meaning eluded her. Suddenly, a foreboding sense of impending doom washed over her, as if something were approaching. She lifted her head, and what she saw nearly made her scream. In one corner of the room, a figure was gradually materializing, a woman with eyes completely red, like two blood-red gemstones. The woman's skin was pale as snow, and her long hair was as dark as ink, draped in ancient robes. Lisa was filled with terror and took a step back, but her legs refused to move. The woman's gaze was fixed on her, pleading silently. Lisa realized that this woman was the occupant of the room next door. Her eyes had lost their sight, but her spirit remained trapped in this world. Lisa could sense the woman's plea in her eyes, a desperate yearning for help. Lisa didn't know what to do, but she felt compelled to stay and assist this soul in distress. The woman slowly raised her hand, adorned with an ancient ring bearing the same symbols and writing. The woman's lips moved, uttering incomprehensible sounds, like an ancient language. Lisa instinctively reached out her hand, attempting to make contact with the woman's extended fingers. When her fingertips touched the woman's, a surge of intense energy coursed through her. She suddenly felt her consciousness being pulled into a strange world. In this world, Lisa witnessed the memories and experiences of the woman. She had once been an ancient priestess, dedicating herself to a mysterious ritual in exchange for otherworldly powers. However, the ritual had gone awry, causing her eyes to go blind, while her soul remained trapped in this room. Lisa understood everything. She knew that she had to help this woman find release. The woman's eyes were filled with gratitude, and with a gentle wave of her hand, a beam of light emerged, illuminating the entire room. With a deep, melodic chant, the woman's body began to slowly dissipate, transforming into a crimson light. Her eyes gazed at Lisa one last time before vanishing into the air. Lisa felt a warmth and tranquility wash over her. She knew the woman had finally found release. She slowly walked out of the room, returning to her own apartment. From that day on, she never peeked into the neighboring room through the small hole again. She had learned the importance of respecting others' privacy. This experience taught Lisa that some things transcended human understanding, and some souls needed attention and help. She began to cherish her own life and learned to respect the stories and privacy of others. Lisa's college life continued, but she would never forget the room of deep crimson and the blind woman. It was a chapter in her life that she would never forget.